when you get to hear from the wisdom of the heart and mind of those who are securely attached, healthy self-worth, academically smart, and all of it, you get to hear beautiful, beautiful information. So on one hand, we have what I heard from Daniel Siegel recently, where some of us get to be safe haven, secure bases, so a secure attachment figure for people. And here's where our lovely 5D mystic enlightenment functional adults are, the Zen masters of the Sadhguru, Zen master, and compulsive thief story. So in that story, he talks about a story, a Zen master, non-disciples, and a compulsive thief. And essentially, the Zen master equates in the book of a person who knows what compassion and wholeness looks like. That's what they equate. They equate a secure attachment figure for the compulsive thief, who would be a shame cycle, the inner critic, outer critic, people who then move to suppress those emotions, so to self-soothe with fucking, drugging, alcoholing, fooding, and it's compulsive. It's not something that is moderate and just because you enjoy it. No, you'll do it in a way when you get stressed. And there's those childhood personality types, childhood trauma personality types. We've talked about this one. It's on Patrick Tiahan's page. You can go look it up. But there's the hostile, the darkness, the ghost, are we good, and the doer, which would be one that's very popular in certain places. They just have to do something. It's work, it's anything. They keep busy, 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 and stuff like that. So Patrick Tiahan, again, he shared the video, I think it was a couple of days ago. No, maybe it was last week. But long story short, Zen master in the Zen tradition story goes up to the disciples who become, at the end of the story, non-disciples, because they circulate this compulsive thief, so shame cycle person. So a person who needs good therapy and people who treat them as whole and with compassion. Because what people who are non-disciples don't understand, since they're teenagers, maladaptive, basically thinking they know how to tell somebody. So martyrs are superiors or the whole blamers. So they're in one of the two. I call them human suffering, love narrative, drama, teenager land. The ones who go get therapy, they don't stay there. So they will not be in the, oh, how dare you. They will be like, yeah, I know, right? Tell us about it. We learned all about projection. We were so happy. We got the good therapist who shared with us how to disengage from hypervigilance, from pseudo-aliveness, how we get to role play, to reparent, how we get to get out of this codependent type stuff and to actually grieve and cry and get angry and become what we want, which is our actual restorative embodied self. It's our birthright. Integration of the brain is our birthright. And all of these great therapists are telling us how easy, no, it won't be easy, but they're sharing with us how we can get out of our childhood trauma stuff from in here and get all of this helped and back into, because the brain is trying to heal itself in the first place. With the trauma memory during your sleep, REM tries to get the trauma memory to the hippocampus because it's biology. And I know people, don't talk to me about biology. Well, your brain is a cellular, if you don't want to hear it again, and I'm the woo-woo pseudoscience lady for a reason. I don't explain it well, but I know a lot of people that, neurobiologists, neuroscientists, they explain it really well. Plus the trauma therapists and attachment therapists and all that great stuff. So on that note, again, as I was saying, the Zen master story, we got a compulsive thief, which can be any person. I see plenty of them out there with self-soothing mechanisms that don't have their well-being. The fucking, the alcohol, and the drugs are the most popular ones. And when you see adults actually think it's cool to live a misaligned lifestyle and they get bored and roll their eyes to information that would help them to lead a healthier one, wow, they're not motivated to optimize their human being version. No, they're motivated to stay in the generalized stereotypes, gender stereotypes, all of that. Humans suck. It's the human suffering love narrative, that drama. That you can only do so much. So they don't want to hear it. And that's why we have other soul age groups, by the way, besides the enlightenment soul age group. Because between the baby ones, and then there's infants, I forget all of them right now, but there's a bunch of them. So I noticed throughout the years that some people, they settle into them. And it's because as a mystic, my oversoul has a bunch of people. And I'll never forget how a couple of them, I heard click. And I heard it as if I were playing Tetris. But it was in here, and it was just, I was like, oh, they're happy. And then I got confirmation, because they got what they wanted. And then in the years afterwards, with these lovely individuals, I saw something else. It's called stagnation. And I realized they were stagnating, though, because their subjective reality involved that life is a flat line. And they definitely did get what they wanted, but now apparently they don't know how to move anywhere else. It's really straightforward if you ask a person who knows how to tickle the brain and the thoughts and the emotional plane. So when you know how to be your own safe haven, that's because you regulate your nervous systems, and that's how you harness your own consciousness and as oneness, so mental, emotional, physical, and maintaining heart, body, belly, body, energy, physical, I think it's mental, something like that. And without yoga, just because you get to choose to do one thing when you're pouting, so when implicit bias comes up, I don't have to pout. The world doesn't revolve around me. So for me, at least, organically differentiated self, healthy self-worth, unconditional love, got flaws and imperfections, all of it, I know how to treat you in a way that involves my mouth. And I'm present because you don't represent a threat, even if your emotions are being expressed with biological rudeness. So if you're a codependent type who's trying to impose that I hear whatever it is you're saying, but you won't be imposing. I'm just going to notice you're going to get all, I can prove it, and then you start to get agitated, and then I have to just be quiet and let you have the floor, and there you go. So that's where safe haven, because my body's not like, what an asshole. No, my body's like, they want the floor. They really, really want to share. Now, if they get insulting, that's where I'm going to, at a certain point, say, okay, I think you don't like me, so maybe we should, part ways if they let me. Usually, if somebody's insulting you, they will be yelling, insulting, that's chaos, turning around, shutting the door, and so you don't really have to do anything about it. In fact, they will have more insults to come eventually, and then you're like, well, you didn't really let me talk, so I don't know, do you want to do an insulting game some more, or do you want to hear me? I don't think you want to hear me because you were yelling the whole time, and that can happen again. No problemo when people yell. Sometimes I've had them not yell too much, and I learn how to say, wow, it's so fascinating. I think I'm going to go over there now. Can I be excused? And I'm serious. These are grown men, women, all of it. So they're grown just because of age, but they definitely don't have that prefrontal cortex on. No, the amygdala is alert, alert, alert. There's a dangerous human being. I don't like them, and I'm not going to work with any of it because I don't care about the nastiness that is coming. No, they're not actually thinking it. So if you be quiet, sometimes they calm down and then they start talking again. And sometimes, most of the time, by the time they're done, we're just going to say, hey, I think I'm going to go. It was nice, because the adult actually knows what just happened. So intellectually, emotionally, and mentally, and physically, I personally don't have any interest in closed-minded people. That's what an adaptive child is. So I don't care about their maladaptive biological rudeness. Intellectually speaking, they just told me, I don't want to have a conversation. I just wanted to actually tell you what I thought and when I didn't like what I heard. So you still maintain that safe haven, because you don't actually attack them, and that's because your body doesn't be like, oh my God, I need to protect myself, because healthy self-worth means I accept me and how I express my emotions, my thoughts, all of it. I accept you. I don't work for love, so I'm not looking for your thumbs up, and your thumbs down don't mean anything, because I grew out of that from being a teenager to an adult, or actually it's just called healthy self-worth. As a teenager, I learned very easily when the teenagers would lie, what it meant, because I would ask, so why'd you lie? I was afraid. I didn't want to reject. What? Why'd you lie? Well, I was afraid. Okay, I guess everybody doesn't have confidence here. So I learned how it worked, and that's why when I grew up and found out people still lie, as grown-ups, the trauma experts explain, they didn't grow up out of their teenage charge state. So adaptive, maladaptive. So anyways, long story short, though, as we close on out, what is very reassuring to hear is when you get to be also secure-based for someone, which means they have fun intellectually. So when we have people who are open and receptive to the 5D mystic enlightenment functional adult, so a securely attached person, you'll know it because they will continue to exchange with you expansion of consciousness conversations. Because as I said, we accept you for who you are, and they will accept us for who we are, and they will enjoy returning home to their true self, which is their emotionally mature person. So safe haven, secure based, gives people secure attachment figures, and we get to build secure connections. And that's relationships. No drama, no insulting, no evil, no devil, just love, wholeness. Tune on in for more.